counselor, please remain unmuted during the meeting. Other participants and staff are to remain on mute until recognized by the chairman or the manager. If you are calling into the meeting, mute and unmute your phone by using *6. If the video conference is disconnected at any time during the meeting shall be stopped and reconvened once the connection is restored. If communication is unable to be restored within 15 minutes, and if communications cannot be restored, the meeting will reconvene on June 16th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Anyone wishing to speak about an item or to be included in the citizens to be heard portion at the end of the meeting should call 405-297-2245 or text 405-219-7987 or email cityclerk@okc.gov. Please submit your request now to avoid receipt of your request after the item has been considered. The agenda and the attachments are available online at okc.gov. Chairwoman Hooper.
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. Since I already kind of circumvented and called the meeting to order beforehand, item number 2 is to approve the minutes of the May 26, 2020 Economic Development Trust meeting. Chair would entertain a motion. And a second.
To approve.
Okay, you don't need to jump ship quite quickly. So Jim, okay, they are approved, right? Okay.
No, we have to vote still.
Oh. Vote.
You'll have to do a
So if
voice
you press escape on your keyboard, you should be able to see your voting buttons. And then Mr. Roth, we'll need you to give a voice vote, please.
Vote in the affirmative. Thank you.
I don't have any buttons on mine.
Press escape on your keyboard and see if they appear.
No.
Do you have a Chrome button at the bottom of your screen?
Yes. I have a Chrome button, but nothing is.
Try hitting escape twice.
Can I just give you a verbal?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, yes. Approved. The motion is passed. Thank you. Item number 3 is to ratify the OSET claims. Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4.
One moment, Chairman. Can I get the motion and the second repeated?
Jim Roth approved. He moved the motion and Lynn Pickens seconded. And then I guess I should have opened it for any discussion. Hearing none, the motion is passed. I'm a little rusty. It's been a few years since I've done this. Okay. Items for individual consideration. Item number 4. The first is item A, a joint resolution with the City of Oklahoma City and the Alliance for Economic Development of Oklahoma City setting and establishing the annual management fee and total public support for the management and administration of economic development activities and programs by the Alliance for Economic Development of Oklahoma City for the 2020-2021 fiscal year for $650,000 to be funded by TIF, GOLT, and the general fund. Kathy, may I turn to you for some comments?
Sure. This is our annual agreement with the city and the trust to provide economic development services and manage the various programs that are outlined in the scope of work. We are requesting no increase in our fee from the current fiscal year.
Okay.
Is that it?
All right. Chair would entertain a motion. In a
I
second.
move to approve it.
Actually, Jim, you are seconding the motion. Lynn already made the motion. Is there any discussion or follow-up questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. Aye. on my end?
Aye.
In the
Do you want
motion?
me to just start talking too? Would that be
Yeah,
easier?
Lynn, that would be excellent. I apologize. I've
no,
hit the
fine.
escape twice and it's not working. And this is the first time I've ever had the Chrome button pop up on our conferences. So that I was confused. All right. It has been approved. All right. Going to item number B is professional services agreement with the Oklahoma City Economic Development Foundation to provide community and economic development services of $900,000 starting July 1, 2020 through the period of June 30th, 2021 to be funded by GOLT and the general fund. Kathy, may I turn to you again for comment?
Yes, and I think Jeff Seymour is on the call or in the meeting as well. This is the annual agreement with the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce or the Economic Development Foundation to provide economic development services to Oklahoma City. So Jeff, I don't know if you have anything to add. There's no increase in their agreement as well.
Yeah, Kathy, thank you.
I think it's a decrease. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a minor decrease this year, focused in the same basic categories, really to continue to diversify the regional economy, grow wages, and support tax growth. And then also we have a specific role to help market the region for new projects. But yeah, we appreciate the long-term partnership, and this contract is a slight decrease from last year, realizing the city's current fiscal position.
Thank you, Jeff and Kathy. Any further questions?
Move
I
approval.
do have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Jim.
I'll second the item, but would like to ask the question.
Please go.
Jeff, thank you. Jeff, appreciate the fiscal restraint, understanding the circumstance with the city budget. But I'm curious, as you look forward to the year ahead with all the uncertainty economically caused by the pandemic, are there aspects that you would, at some point in time, suggest we take a look at that might actually add to the scope of services that would be necessary to help us rebound from what we've been through and are going through?
Yeah, thanks, Jim. That's a good tee up. And that is one thing we did add in this year's contract is some language for is dealing with both the public health crisis and the economic turmoil, that there's some room to come back to the table and add some new services if we need it. But I think right now, a lot of the work that we've been doing and continue to do around small business, the small business environment and turmoil there, and helping kind of bring that sector out is really probably where we need to continue to spend a lot of time. And there may be some other specific opportunities moving forward as well as we attack some sectors. But yeah, we tried to leave some language in here that would also allow us to come back to the table if there's specific partnership opportunities we should address.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I just want to make sure that Kathy and Joanna and the city and everyone has flexibility for your partnership. So thank you for that. And Madam Chair, I had offered a second.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate the second. And the item was moved by Lynn. Any further questions? Hearing none, I'd like to call for the vote. Please signify by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Don't sign off. I'm teasing. You can mute yourself now. Item number C is a joint resolution of the City of Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, and the Myriad Gardens Foundation, setting and establishing the annual management fee and annual public support for facility maintenance in the total amount of $2,497,550 from the general fund for the operation, management, and maintenance of the Myriad Botanical Gardens for the 2020-21 fiscal year, allowing for amendments to the annual management fee and annual public support upon subsequent council and trust approval, and providing for the foundation's provision of quarterly financial statements to reflect budget to actual revenues and expenditures at 301 West Reno Avenue. And this is funded through the general fund. Kathy, comments?
Just that, so this is the annual agreement that we have with the Myriad Botanical Gardens to manage and operate that city park. Their overall subsidy has increased from 39% of their total funding in the current fiscal year to 62% of their total funding in FY21. And that is because they will be closing the Crystal Bridge for renovations. And so their overall revenues will decrease during the coming year. So I don't know that we have anybody here from the Myriad Gardens that has any other, that could answer any other questions, but I think it's been approved through the city staff, and I think it's fair,
Kathy, will that, and I apologize, I don't have the backup, but will that renovation of the Crystal Bridge all transpire in the fiscal year?
I don't know that, I can't remember that, and I'm trying to get the backup documents.
This is Lacey Kelly. I can speak to that. The
Okay.
renovation that was presented to the TIF Review Committee and Trust and Council was a construction timeline of about 18 months. So it will be overlapping over 2 fiscal years.
Okay, so we could anticipate an increase from fiscal year 20 in addition this coming year, but at a different rate.
Fiscal year, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions relative to this subject?
You asked my question as well, so I'll move the item as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded by Lynn. Any other questions or thoughts? Hearing none, would like to call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Moving right along, item D is a joint resolution of the City of Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, and the Scissortail Park Foundation setting and establishing the annual management fee in the amount of $3,152,825 for the operation and management of Scissortail Park for the 2020-21 fiscal year, bounded by South Robinson Avenue and South Hudson Avenue, south of Southwest 3rd and north of the Oklahoma River, allowing for amendments to the annual management fee and/or additional transfers into the capital fund upon subsequent council and trust approval, and providing for the Scissortail Park Foundation's provision of quarterly financial statements to include and reflect budget to actual revenues and expenditures. This too would be under the general fund. Kathy.
So this is the agreement to operate Scissortail Park. So this will be their really first, I guess it's their first full year of operations. And so their overall subsidy has decreased from 76% of their total funding in the current fiscal year to 67% of total funding in FY21. So they'll start to generate some of their own revenues, more and more revenue as the park matures and is marketed for events and things.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments relative to this item?
Move approval.
I would move approval. Second.
You got to be fast on your feet, Jim.
I know, this is like Jeopardy.
I know, that's right. The question is.
There you go. Any questions or comments for Kathy? Hearing none, would like to call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Denied? Nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item is item E. It's a resolution approving the American Indian Cultural Center Foundation's proposed 2020-21 fiscal year budget and pre-opening costs in the amount of $4 million to be provided by the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, as recommended by the American Indian Cultural Center Museum Finance Funding Committee, and that's the Finance Funding Committee in quotes, and authorizing staff to make quarterly distributions in the manner set forth in the Finance Funding Committee's adopted resolution and recommendation, also to be funded under the general fund. Kathy, I feel like you have comments on each one of these, which is important for you to have comments on each one of these.
So this is the management fee for the operations of the American Indian Cultural Center, and is part of the commitments that the city made to assist with the opening and completion of that facility. The trust and the city entered into an agreement in March of 2019, the management and operations agreement. And that agreement is what provided for this Finance Funding Committee to make annual recommendations about the funding level to be provided to the AICCM. So I don't really have that much more to add, except that this is going to become another one of those annual management agreements that we see as we begin each fiscal year.
Any questions of Kathy relative?
And I might add, just so you're aware, the $4 million in funding is coming from the Chickasaws, part of our Zoom. It's not a direct expenditure from the general fund.
Okay,
Wiley, if I understand it right, they provided $16 million.
That's correct.
So this 4 million comes from that money.
That's correct.
okay.
I'll move approval of the item.
Second.
All right, any additional questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item F, joint resolution with the City of Oklahoma City renewing agreements in support in connection with debt obligations issued by the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, which would be retroactive to July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. This is out of TIF. Kathy.
Right. Yeah, these are agreements of support that are related to the various TIF financings that we have done in the past. They include the private placement bond issue that was done for TIF 2, the bonds that were issued under TIF 8, and TIF, the Convention Center Hotel bonds as well. These are something that we do each year that pledge the city and the economic development support to those bond issues, in addition to the revenues that are provided, that are generated through the increment revenues from each of the TIF districts.
Okay. Chair would entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Jim, any additional questions?
Second.
Okay, any additional questions? Hearing none, would like to call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item G is the fiscal year 2020-21 Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust budget paid for by TIF, GOLT, and the general fund. Kathy?
Yes, you had there was a presentation about this budget at our May meeting, if I can remember what month it is. The budget totals 165 million across all of the different funds that are a part of the Economic Development Trust budget. Joanna is also on the phone, and Lacey, I'm sure they'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions of Kathy, Joanna, or Lacey?
No, I appreciated the presentation previously. Would move approval.
Okay,
Second.
second. Any additional questions? If not, call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. And lastly, on the items for individual consideration is item H. It's the addendum to the amended and restated agreement for professional services with the Alliance for Economic Development of Oklahoma City to incorporate certain CARES Act requirements into the agreement and to provide consideration for the additional services requested of and provided by the Alliance at the request of the city in an amount not to exceed $60,000 to carry out the small business continuity program implemented by the City Council in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and approving an amount not to exceed $330,000 to pay the Alliance for retaining experts to provide expert technical assistance services provided under the Small Business Continuity Program coming out of GOLT funds. Kathy, comments?
Yes, this item is an addendum to the Alliance's current fiscal year agreement to pay us for certain administrative costs that we've incurred related to implementing the Small Business Continuity Program. Those include some marketing, communications kinds of expenses, the time of my staff and myself developing and implementing and managing the programs. It also includes under the program, the city gave the ability to the Alliance to enter into the agreements with technical experts for the technical assistance component of the program. So we issued a request for proposals. We've developed a list of qualified experts. We've been matching those to the businesses that applied for technical assistance. Based on the number of applications we received, we think about $330,000 should fund all of those agreements. If you may or may not remember, but the council originally allocated $500,000 to that particular program, but it doesn't look like we'll spend all of it. So we're going to be paying the consultants as we get them on board and get the work completed. So this is just an amendment to take care of all these additional expenses for this fiscal year.
Okay. Questions?
Thank you.
Jim, does that, do you have any questions relative to that, Jim or Lynn?
No, I'm sorry. No, I was saying thank you for the explanation. It seems worthwhile, and I would move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, now moving on to the general manager's report to speak to financials updated through May 30th, 2020.
I really don't have anything to highlight in the report in your packet for your review.
Okay. All right. And the next item on the agenda, any comments from staff, trustees, or citizens? And I didn't get an indication that any citizens had signed up to make comments. Okay. Staff or trustees, any other? Okay, moving right along. Any comments from, come on, Lacey. Next item.
Adjournment.
The next item is adjournment.
Oh, I thought we also had, okay, never mind. And I know that's a hard one to have. And we did this in 25 minutes. Not that I was on a speed track, but there was a lot to read over. So thank you for being part of this. You know, our active participation and research and reading through documents and making sure we're staying on point is greatly appreciated. And thank you so much for your participation. And if nothing else, I call the meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you.
Take care. Drive safely.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.